All right, well, I told you in the last video I was going to change out my water heater. So, got that changed out today. I'll just kind of show you what we went through to do that. All right, so if you remember, on the last water heater, it had like 3 knobs on the front of it here, you know. One of them adjusted the flow, one of them adjusted the burner, was a modulator for, and the other one was for the burner high and low. So basically, remember I said that one was just to raise water temperature, but it didn't really have anything in it to actually control temperature. It was just based on flow. So what I run into with that, having a pressure tank, as the pressure went up and come down, you know, the water temperature varied quite a little bit. And if you like taking hot showers, then all of a sudden it got too hot. So anyway, so I didn't like that. So I bought this one here, and this one here, it was advertised to maintain within plus or minus 1 degree, but so far it seems to be not going any higher than what you have it set up and then dropping 2 degrees below it. So it stays within 2 degrees of what you have it set at. So I'm pretty happy with that. There's a lot more work getting it mounted because I actually vented this one outside. I didn't the other one, but it should have been, but this one here is actually a lot bigger burner than it was. This one has a 80,000 BTU burner, so, and it's got a forced air vent on it, so I figured I probably ought to go ahead and do the right thing and just vent it outside. So I did, and so we had to cut a hole through the wall and run the vent outside. You can see that now. So I know that several people commented about not having the water heater vented, and I knew it should be vented, but I've run a carbon monoxide detector and never had a problem with it. But anyway, this one's vented properly now. The other one had a battery igniter. This one here actually has to have 110 volt because it's actually ignited by 110, and then it's got a fan for the exhaust, and then of course the water and the burner both have modulators on them to modulate them up and down to be able to control the temperature. So basically the burner and the water both have a little modulator valve on them that's computer controlled. So all you have to do is just come over here and touch a button and set the temperature whatever you want. So the ambient temperature in the water tank right now is 77. So I come over here to the shower and flip it on, and come back over here. You can see the burner light up. I don't know if you can hear it kick on there or not, but you can see the temperature start going up here in a second. So I think I have it set on 109. It'll go up to like 149, but I just leave it on like 109, and then that way it well, it jumped up to 113. So first time I've had it do that, but anyway, so that I shut the water off now and it jumped up another degree, but so the burner shut off now, and now it's cooling off. So temperature jumped up a little bit there as the water flow stopped and the burner shut off. So and then while I was at it, I went ahead and put this filter here in, and what that is supposed to do is, it's not really a filter, I guess, but it actually has some stuff in there, and just part of your water actually goes through it and it discharges some stuff into the water system. But what it's supposed to do is, when you have hard water, that's supposed to keep the hard water deposits from building up in your hot water heater and on your faucets. In other words, those white lime deposits that you see build up on stuff, that's supposed to eliminate that from happening. So now, I've never used one of those before, but anyway, I wanted to try it and see, because you always get that lime buildup in the teapot and stuff like that. So another thing I changed as well is, you can see I put a flexible hose here, and before I had just the PEX tubing was connected directly to that pump, and those little pumps are like a pulse type pump or whatever you call them, and it actually was pretty noisy with all that. The pump resonated through all this PEX tubing on the wall, and it was pretty noisy. So now the pump is nice and quiet now. So that softer hose there was a big improvement on that. So made that nice. So that was it's been an all day project, but that's something I wanted to get done. And I said in the last video I was going to do that and had the water heater ordered and stuff like that, but just didn't have it in yet. So anyway, it came in day before yesterday. I run to town today and got a bunch more fittings and stuff like that to work on that. And so that's done. I got extra filters up there for all of my other stuff. I ordered an extra filter for that. So I'm not sure how often I have to change that yet. I need to read up a little bit on that. But hopefully that will help with some hard water issues. I don't think our water is real bad, but it's definitely hard enough that it's, according to the report on it, that it, you know, eventually is going to leave some hard water deposits and stuff like that. So maybe it'll keep it from building up in a hot water heater too. That's what I'm hoping. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at with that. And I guess the only other change I made since the last video was, as I said, I was going to put me up a new TV. Well, I did get all the old one down. And there was, I don't know if you remember seeing, there was a copper tubing pipe hanging down here that went to them old gas lights that used to be in here. I got all that old copper tubing stripped out of here because those propane lights were a real fire hazard, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is we actually had one that actually caught the wall on fire while I was sitting here. Tyler and I was. And we wondered prior to that why we kept finding, I don't know, 3 or 4 old ones around here that had been replaced. And the old cabin had one new one in it as a spare. And we wondered why. And whenever we seen what happened to that one, we knew why. So I knew right then I wasn't going to use them anymore. And so I went through and took them all out. I had 3 of them in here. And just took them all out. Threw them all away, including a new one. I wouldn't even give it to somebody because they, to me, seemed like a fire hazard, and I wouldn't want to give something like that to somebody. So anyway, back in the new part, and that's kind of where we're at right now. If anybody has any questions on the water heater scenario or anything, feel free to ask questions. This water heater here on Amazon was it's on sale for $2.99. The other one I had in here also come from Amazon. That one was about, I want to say they were somewhere around $180, something like that. And we all 3 had one. I had one, Perry had one, Tyler had one. Tyler started leaking, and so he replaced his with a little bit better one, maybe not. It's not thermostatically controlled like this one is. But it seems to work pretty good too. And this one here, actually, for some of the people off grid, this one here actually has a freeze protection on it if you was to mount this outside. So in other words, if it got below freezing outside, this here, the burner would actually cycle on and off. You can read that up here, but it'll actually cycle off and on to keep this unit from freezing as long as it still has power to it and still has propane to it. So that's something to consider for for an off-grid cabin. But it also has a drain right here. You can pull this little cap off, and that'll drain the water heater too. So something to think about. So far I'm happy with this one. We'll see how it performs after a month or so. But that's kind of how we heat our water here at this cabin. Thanks for watching, everybody.